All right, well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for Custom Microworks Senior Design 2022 to 2023. We'll get started.
So to introduce everyone a bit to the company, Custom Microworks' new approach software is only the third type of financial accounting system in world history. The new approach, or NA, was introduced in 2015, and it was designed to computerize and simplify complex accounting jobs so that even non-accountants could handle them with ease. CMW software is supposed to make accounting tasks easier, more efficient, and more understandable.
Our stakeholder was Steve Seawall, who founded Custom Microworks. He's a one-man team, CEO, and only employee for his company. He's an absolute trooper. He was the first one to create the software himself, learning Visual Basic on his own and creating it.
And then to go over our development team, Parker here was our product manager, Zach was our development manager, Michael Vipon was our squad lead, and then all of our developers were me, Taryn, and then Carter and Sam.
Problem and opportunity. So Custom Microworks tasked us with reworking an older Visual Basic accounting application to a more modern, scalable solution. We were faced with the opportunity to decide on whatever language or framework for a new application would best fit the software's needs. We ended up going with Vue.js for the front end and C# for the back end, two newer technologies that hopefully will stay relevant within the near future.
And so to go over the solution a bit more again, we all decided that Vue.js for the front end was kind of the best approach for us to go with, and then we also used a C# API. There was also a need to redesign the database, as Steve originally designed it using Access, and so we ended up using SQL for that.
As you can see, these are some of the reworks. This is what the app currently looks like. On your left, you'll see the login page where we have stored all of the usernames and database and passwords in a database so users can enter into the site. And on the right is sort of the home page. And on the left is all of the main modules that Steve has developed, obviously just reworked in our own language.
This here is an example of what one of those menus would look like. So this here is the startup menu, and so you can kind of see we've used a tile system to incorporate all of the sub-menus into his bigger general menus like startup and banks.
As you can see, when we click on the initial entity setup module, we get this UI. Over on the left, you can see you can add a new entity. And then over here, if you'd selected one of the entities, there's no record showing here. But if you were to select, you could have the option to edit or delete. The reason why this was so important to us to develop was because this is going to give a template for all of the other modules developers are going to have to create in the future. So it's a good template and foundation.
And then this here is just yet another example of what pop-ups are going to look like in our app. So you kind of have the full picture of all of the main features that you would come across while using the app.
Value and highlights. Understanding the requirements and cutting it down to obtainable goals for our project took time, but once we did, the process was a lot easier. I think one of the biggest challenges we had as a team was actually getting momentum. Working as a team on a brand new project was extremely difficult since we didn't know each other. Furthermore, meeting deadlines early in the project was tough. We were behind early and it took a while for us to catch up. Like I said, building up that momentum was tough, but once we did, the project ran a lot more smooth.
And thank you.
And we'd also like to thank our sponsor, Steve. He couldn't be here today, but he was a huge support. He always showed up to our meetings, gave good input, and gave us good direction as the co-founder of his company.